Ecclesiastes chapter 11, starting at verse 7, where it says, "Light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to see the sun." The sun, I thought, a well-used word in the book of Ecclesiastes. Under the sun, a well-used metaphor for our lives that are lived on this earth. So what did the author of Ecclesiastes, I thought to myself, find under the sun? Verse 14 in chapter 1 tells us, "I have seen everything under the sun, and behold, all is vanity, and is striving after the wind." Chasing the wind. A life without God is without meaning. It is vanity, that's all. Our earthly life should not be about what we can get out of it. I often see these big stickers across windscreens, mainly in great big four-wheel drive vehicles, that says, "One life, live it." Huge stickers, massive, "One life, live it," right across the windscreen. And I thought, they're placed there by fools who think the joys of this world, of this life, are where you should rest your life upon. Yes, there are many joys in this life. They should be cherished. Verse 8 tells us, "So if a person lives many years, let him rejoice in them all." Well, there's nothing wrong with joy. So rejoice in your joys, for there are still many things in this world sin has not yet destroyed. So enjoy them. I looked out this morning as I arrived, and I looked at the landscape around, and I thought, what a joy. And then I look at what's in it. I rest on what God's created. We must rejoice in this joy, but do this all the time, remembering the rest of verse 8, where it says, "Let him remember the days of darkness are many. All that comes is vanity." One should, I think, hold the joys of this life quite loosely, knowing that the joys of this world are temporary. Life on this earth is shorter than the darkness of death that will one day visit us all. The days of darkness are many, the verse says. And verse 9 says something which is interesting. "Rejoice in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of it." Wise words, I think. For old age calls time on many things. Time indeed does take its toll. The verse continues, "Walk in the ways of your heart and the sight of your eyes. But know, for all these things God will bring judgment." The author here, I think, understands the great joys and the gifts God has given us. But he also understands that they come with conditions and boundaries to stop them destroying us. For sin, I fear, would have us overindulge, to be gluttonous or greedy for more. Maybe wanting the joys of this world more than God. So we must, I think, remember all these joys, these good things under the sun, God gave them to us. We must not forget that. We must not forget that. God gave them to us, because one day we shall be judged on how we have handled what he has given to us. Verse 10 says, remove vexation from your heart and put away pain, for your body, your youth, and the dawn of life are vanity. The author would have us understand that life is short. To be angry and in pain about these things of this world doesn't really do anything, does it? For the youth and the dawn of life are both vanity. God gave us the gift of youth. We should hold it dear, for it soon goes. Feeling a bit of that myself. The energy of youth leaves us all too soon, and the dawn of life closes in all too quick. Chapter 12, verse 1. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will have no pleasure in them. Evil days drawing near. Days you will have no pleasure in. The contrast between old age and youth are the focus in that piece there, I think. Youth and the evil days, the text says. The evil days, I think, are growing old. That gets us ever closer to death. It's gloomy, this, isn't it, really? So, the next 7 verses in chapter 12 focus mainly on aging and death. So, on the fact that I don't want to make you all too gloomy, I will not go through all of them, just a few. Verse 3 says, in the days of the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men are bent, and grinders cease, for they are few. I know many strong men, mainly farmers in my profession. As they get older, I see this. Their hands shake. That's what this is telling us. Strong men whose muscles have faded. Many of them are bent in stature, and many of them, like myself, are lacking teeth. Verse 5 speaks of the almond trees blossom, reminding us perhaps of our grey hair. As I look around, there seems quite a lot of it. Praise the Lord for the youth. He also speaks of how the grasshopper drags itself along. Now this really sort of came home to me, because I know many who walk straight in their youth and now drag themselves along on all sorts of little contraptions, some with wheels and some with legs. Do they call them frames? I don't know. But I know quite a few strong men that have been reduced to that. I could go on with more metaphors from this text, but I'll finish with one. Just one more, where it says, desires fade. If I'm honest, I don't have the desire I had when I was 20 for pretty well much anything that I had back then. I found myself the other day with quite a lot of tasks to do, and at one point they would have been quite simple to get through. I'd much rather go and have a cup of tea now, but we can't, can we? So weakness, loss of strength and desire, unable to do what you once did. Even food becomes a problem for those who lack teeth. Strong men reduced to shaking and unsteadiness. The joy of this life fading away. There are few joys under the sun that come with old age. I read all this and I sat and wondered, what is the author telling us? I think the end of verse 5 may help, where it says, man is going to his eternal home. Death comes to us all. We are, I think, given many warning signs through the aging process. As the dawn of life approaches. Verse 6 goes on with more metaphors. The silver cord is snapped, the golden bowl is broken, the pitcher is shattered at the fountain, the wheel is broken. Snapped, broken, shattered. See no pleasure in any of those. And then verse 7. Verse 7. Have a good look at verse 7. And then the dust returns to the earth as it was. And the spirit returns to God who gave it. Wow. One day our bodies will return to the ground. But our spirit will return to our Maker. Whereby, under no illusion, we will stand before God and give an account. An account on how we managed the life we were given. We must be ready, prepared for this day. So Lord, how you may ask, can this be done as we live among the vanity of this world? Maybe a start would be accepting in humility that all that is good and bad, the things in our life that are good and bad, are all a gift from God. By trusting all these things in our lives have a meaning, even the bad things. Some people have more good than bad, and some have more bad than good. But I honestly believe, and the text tells me, that it's from God, and it all has a meaning. It all has a meaning, even if we cannot see it or understand it. Maybe we need to understand that God gives us what we need, not what we desire. We also need, I think, to understand from this text that death is a great leveller. For death will come to the rich and to the poor, to the man of wisdom and to the fool. All will die. And note this. And time will erase what you have achieved under the sun. I see many men, I know many men, and I was guilty of this myself, striving to achieve something, to leave something behind. A sort of a monument, I suppose. Time will take that away. People soon forget. I think on a personal level, I began to find peace in this life when I understood that everything in my life is out of my control. When I stopped striving after the wind, as the text says. When I understood that everything in my life is a gift from God. Gift from God. In the God that I trust. Why? Because it makes no difference how hard you have strived in your achievements in this world. I see people bragging about what they've done, and I've done this and I've done that and I've achieved this and I've achieved that. It matters not how much stress or pleasure you have endured to achieve your earthly goals, or how much you have boasted of your skill or ability to further your earthly achievements or possessions. It matters not, for it is all vanity. For a life without God is a life without purpose or meaning. It's vanity, that's all. So finally, I have one question. When the great leveller comes, when death comes, and it will, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?